Supporting those in my electorate. By Nicole Werner MP. It has been an incredibly busy period for me, both in Parliament and out in our community. I've been working hard advocating for you in Parliament, while also actively getting out to local events and supporting our community. Here are a few recent things I've been up to as your member for Warrandyte. Celebrating our local sports clubs and other community groups. I've had the pleasure of attending some wonderful events recently at our local sporting clubs, including the Warrandyte Football Club President's Lunch, the Warrandyte Football Club Ladies' Day, the Wonga Wizards Soccer Club's Ladies' Night, the Park Orchards Football Netball Club Ladies' Night, the Domvale Football Club Ladies' Day and Sponsors Members Luncheon, the North Ringwood Football Netball Club Ladies' Day, and the North Ringwood Junior Football Club Coaches Presentation Night. Whether the events were 80s, cowgirl or glitter themed, they were all wonderful social events for our sporting clubs across the board. These events are such a highlight for me. There's something special about the energy and community spirit, and it's where I get to have genuine conversations with everyday locals, which really help me understand what matters most to you, so I can better represent our community in Parliament. It was great to meet and chat with many of the other contributors at the Warrandyte Diary Contributors event. A special congratulations to the Diary on nearly 55 years of keeping our community informed and connected. The hard work of editors Sandi and James and their team, who pull it all together, really shows, and your dedication to local journalism is truly appreciated. Particularly in a time where many local papers now cease to exist, it's a brilliant credit to the Diary team and our community that our local paper is still thriving. As always, I've also appreciated visiting our local markets. Whether it's chatting with locals at Park Orchards, Tunstall Square or Warrandyte Market, I always thoroughly enjoy my time spent browsing the wares, produce and food on offer, as well as speaking with people in our community. It was at the Warrandyte Market, shortly after being elected, that I first met the Friends of Warrandyte State Park Group, a member of Landcare Victoria. Recently, I had the opportunity to visit them to offer my support, along with my colleague Richard Welch, MP, who is also the co-convener of the inaugural Parliamentary Friends of Landcare. In fact, it was through a meeting with Andersons Creek Landcare that Richard Welch MP, member for North Eastern Metro in the Upper House, was inspired to establish the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare through Victorian Parliament, of which I am a member. This was an initiative that Landcare had long wanted to pursue but had been unable to achieve. We should be proud that Warrandyte contributed to establishing this important parliamentary friendship group, which will facilitate stronger parliamentary advocacy for improved landcare practices in government policy development. I was also honoured to attend the Manningham citizenship ceremony recently. The joy on new citizens' faces as they officially become Australian is incredibly moving and a reminder of how lucky we are to call this country home. Advocating for you in Parliament. While I love being out in the community, I'm also working hard for you in Parliament, raising the issues that matter most to Warrandyte residents. One of the biggest concerns I keep hearing about is our shocking lack of public transport connectivity, which I recently raised in Parliament. It's frankly ridiculous that suburbs so close to each other are completely disconnected if you don't have a car. Here's a perfect example. If you want to drive from Park Orchards to do some shopping in Warrandyte by the river, it's a 7-minute drive. The same trip by bus is over 70 minutes, with 2 bus changes. That's 10 times longer. If you want to go to Wonga Park instead, it's an 11-minute drive, but it takes nearly an hour and a half on public transport. This simply isn't good enough. I've also raised the issue of overcrowded school buses, particularly the service from North Warrandyte to Luther College. When I wrote to the Minister on behalf of a local mum whose kids couldn't catch the bus because it was full by the time it reached Warrandyte Bridge, the response was disappointing. The minister indicated they wouldn't review the routes because the children weren't attending their zoned government schools, despite the bus company itself previously asking for a service review. This isn't fair. Families deserve safe, reliable access to public transport, regardless of which school their children attend. I've called on the Minister for Public and Active Transport to undertake an urgent review of Warrandyte's bus service needs and increase services to our community. I've also spoken about the government's unfair schools tax, the payroll tax on independent schools introduced in 2023 as a result of removing a long-standing exemption. Whitefriars College, a local school which is about to cross the payroll tax threshold, told me this could add around $1,000 to fees, pushing many families out and limiting the school's ability to offer financial support to underprivileged families. The government cannot assume that parents who choose non-government schools are rolling in money, when the reality is that many are hardworking families who take on extra jobs and make sacrifices to give their kids educational opportunities. This was my story too. After my parents migrated here with $800 to their name, I saw them work tirelessly to give me the best opportunities and education they had only dreamt of for themselves. We should be supporting families like that. Parents who go without, pick up extra shifts and make huge sacrifices so their children can have a better future, not making it harder for them through unfair taxes. This is not a fringe issue. In the Warrandyte electorate, around 31% of students attend Catholic or independent schools, rising to 52% among secondary students. Families choose non-government schools for a large variety of reasons, including seeking a values-based or faith-aligned education, specialist programs, or a culture that better suits their child's specific needs. The Coalition has committed to scrapping the payroll tax for independent schools if elected next year, as we believe all students should be supported regardless of which school they attend, and that families shouldn't be unfairly taxed just because of how they have chosen to educate their children. I've also spoken a lot in Parliament about Victoria's budget crisis. The recent state budget shows Victoria's net debt heading towards $194 billion by 2028 to 29, with interest payments hitting $28.9 million per day. By 2029, we'll be spending 9% of the state's entire budget just on interest. Sadly, the more we spend on interest, the less we have for services that actually matter, such as public transport, schools, hospitals, and emergency services. If we don't change course, we'll see the consequences in our decaying roads, overcrowded hospitals, and stretched emergency services. This is an issue of generational importance. It's a privilege to be the member for Warrandyte and to represent our community. If there are issues you care about and want raised with the government, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at nicole.werner@parliament.vic.gov.au.